And we are here with the new Imalent MS03W. This is the warm white version. And it's basically the same flashlight like the MS03. There is just the difference in the beam color, and we are now gonna switch it on. This is the low mode, and we are gonna go to the turbo directly with about 13,000 lumens in 3, 2, 1, turbo, the maximum brightness level. The light was already used, so it's quite warm already. It will heat up quite quickly. It's usually about 30 seconds until there is the first step down. Now it's a bit earlier because it was already used before this video. But still we have the green indicator LED. Now this flashlight really is working. There has been the issue with the turbo on many MS03 models. So and this now really surprisingly works perfectly. There hasn't been any issue with this indicator LED. Everything is fine. And it was used in the turbo now for actually already a few minutes, for a few times, probably about 10 or 20 times. Yeah, it was shifted or switched on in the turbo. Then of course there has been a step down, but I'm surprised about the run times. We are again gonna switch it to the turbo with a double click. There is a lot of light here, and it's with the warm white beam color, which can be very comfortable to watch, especially late at night. Of course it really depends on your preferences, and also yeah, on how you or what you use the light for. The cold white can look a bit brighter and more refreshing, but the warm white can be more comfortable just late at night to calm down. We are now again in the lowest mode, which is fine to just see the way in front of you. So it already has or provides enough lumens, and again we are soon gonna switch to the max, to the turbo. It is still quite warm here, the surface or the head of the light, so that truly does take a while until it cools down. And of course the recommendation that I can give is just using this light in a lower mode, just not really in the turbo for too much or too early, because then you will probably run out of the battery or of battery power, and yeah, and it's basically just gonna heat up probably too much until you will almost yeah, have no time or patience to wait to switch it back. Now we are quickly gonna use the turbo again. This is a great place here. Maximum brightness setting. And if you are in the forest, this light can be really great. It's got a huge beam, a lot of floodlight, but of course you have to really be aware that in order to get a good beam distance, you gotta have a high level. So For example, if you are in the mid mode, then of course, as you can see, we have a good illumination here of the close distance, but everything which is a bit further, you probably won't see it so clearly anymore. And of course, when you are on an open terrain, then you probably want to use a thrower which is a bit more focused. And when you have a light with a bit more throw, with a more focused beam, then of course you will not use that much battery power in order to reach a good beam distance. So this MS03 is great when you are, for example, now here in the forest or somewhere else where you don't really need such a huge beam distance. We are gonna switch it up a little bit and to the turbo. Now the light was already used or has been used now for quite a while, so I guess that the voltage has dropped quite a bit, but I believe we probably can still access the turbo, and it's still looking green here, so I am surprised. And again, the turbo in 3, 2, 1, and the full brightness here with this MS03W with the warm white beam color. And you can instantly or almost instantly feel the heat when you are in the turbo. It really warms up very quickly. So of course this is a great light for short illumination periods, but if you are looking for a light that you can use let's say all night or for a few hours with very high lumen output levels, then of course you probably want to choose another one. You probably want to go for a DX80 or even the MS18 or R90TS. Those lights are quite large, but they will provide advantages. So they are stronger, and also they have more battery capacity, and probably the main advantage is just the cooling. So on a light with this small frame here, you cannot have a great cooling of the surface or of the entire system here. It's just not going to be possible, or at least not yet with this with the abilities or the possibilities we have now here. So of course you probably want to take a larger light when you need more lumens. And again, guess we can access the turbo here just to take a look at the environment. Double click turbo and it looks great. But again, be aware, I just used the turbo now here for this video. It really drains the battery, and it's just great to use it for a few seconds, or you could also take a spare battery with you, so then you will have a bit more battery power. That would be the other possibility. Now again in the low mode, so that's not really that interesting here. You can still see the way, but course there is a difference to the higher levels. Now the second, third, fourth, fifth and turbo, and I believe now the voltage must be a lot lower, so it seems that the turbo isn't really possible anymore, or actually you can activate it with a double click, but I believe it's not anymore the full brightness. So in order to let the flashlight cool down a bit, I am now using the low mode, but again we are quickly gonna press a double click, and now finally it quickly shifted to red here on the indicator LED. I actually thought that it would happen much earlier, because I've now used the turbo for probably about or reactivated it for about 30 times, 20-30 times, I'm not sure exactly, but quite a few times. So I'm surprised that it didn't switch to red earlier. Now again it's still green, so it's really not that bad, or actually it's perfect so far. There hasn't been any sign of a turbo issue with this model here, so it just worked perfectly. Again, a double click, turbo, and now finally I guess it's probably soon gonna stay in the red here. It quickly shifted to red in the beginning, but now it's back in green, so that's great. I'm gonna check the voltage later on, so really wonder how low it is now. But anyways, I'm surprised about the performance, because on the previous models it wasn't possible to be in the turbo for such a long time, because every second in turbo just drains the battery. It uses a lot of battery power, and again it is still possible to use it in the highest mode. Now this has been quite a long video. I'm not sure if anybody is still listening to me, so we are now gonna stop it. If you got any questions, you can leave a comment. If you liked the video so far, you can press the thumbs up. And for more news about Imalent LED lights in the future, you can subscribe to the channel. There will be more presentations as soon as new products will hit the market. So I am now looking forward to your comment, your message. There are more news on the website, on the online store, on www.imalent.ch. The link is also in the description of this video, but so far the page hasn't yet been translated into English completely, so you will probably not find so much information at this point now. There will be more in the future, also in English. So anyways, thanks for watching, and see you soon in the next video.